But first, do you believe in angels? Well, high-flying Susie Anthony had it all. A top job, jet-set lifestyle, swanky flat in Tokyo, and a wardrobe full of designer labels. And Susie loved living life in the fast lane until it nearly killed her.
Aged just 35, Susie almost died after a massive cocaine binge. She believes she only survived because of an angel, and she joins us now. Welcome.
Hi.
So you, right from the word go, from being about 12 when your father left, you say that is when you had this desire to succeed.
Yep, it was very frightening. We lost our home, we lost pretty much everything. And I remember saying as a 12-year-old kid, the more money I can get, the safer I'll be. So I kind of forgot about being a good person and just went out to get rich quick.
And you managed. You did incredibly well. You were PA to some of the most successful, wealthy businessmen in the world.
Yeah.
You ended up in Johannesburg. You were sadly married there, but the marriage didn't last.
Yeah.
And so at that point in your life, why did you decide? I mean, you seem to have it all in that part of the world, that you were going to up sticks and move again.
I was just bored, and I guess I was doing a geographical, thinking if I go and do the same things in another place, I'll feel okay. But you take your problems with you.
But what sort of person were you at that stage, when you'd begun to get it all?
Still good-hearted at base, but, you know, very materialistic. It was a case of, I'll show you who I'm with and you can tell me who I am, because I didn't have a clue. And I had no self-esteem. And having lots of things and being in exciting places sort of gave me a glamorous image.
But it's when you go home that you realise it's all pretty empty, really. And it was,
Totally.
But it was this lifestyle you were living, working for an extremely wealthy man as his PA in Tokyo. Tokyo is a very fast-paced, fast money, everything, isn't it?
Totally.
And your life was going around in private jets and designer clothes.
Yeah.
And then drugs crept in as well, because you say you're running from something, some emptiness inside you.
Yeah.
We know people say, and then I started on the drugs. And was that giving you anything?
At first it gave me the energy to continue the lie, you know, to convince everyone everything's okay and I can do this. But like you say, I was getting home every night and I wasn't convincing myself. And eventually I had to take more and more, and it took over.
And this was cocaine?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on a trip back to England to visit your mother in Windsor, you overdid the cocaine in her bedroom, and you had convulsions and seizures, and you were very ill, and you surprised the doctors by coming out of that.
Yeah.
And then you flew off again back to a place you had in Johannesburg and did it again.
Yeah.
But this was the time, this was the wake-up call for you, and something extraordinary happened to you.
It was Good Friday, funnily enough, and 5 days previously I knew that I had no hope and I couldn't reach out to any human for help.
What, no hope in your life? You just felt there's
in
nothing...
my life, or anyone to help me give up. People had tried but couldn't help me, and I couldn't help myself, so I just called to a higher agency and said, you know, there is a God, if there are angels, it kind of would be a good time now to come and help.
But nonetheless, this was you, after that prayer, or whatever you want to call it, you took some more cocaine, you overdosed, really, had convulsions, and how did you have this out-of-body experience?
Well, basically, I looked down at my body and it had gone dark blue, and I realised I was no longer in the envelope of my body. I looked around the room and it was filled with a bright sapphire blue light, and I thought, God, I am dead, and this must be God. And I just felt very peaceful and filled with love, and then taken through in a whirlwind almost through a life review to work out where I'd lost my way.
Who took you through the life review?
A voice inside my head called Michael, which I later found out to be the Archangel Michael, Angel of Mercy.
Saying what to you?
Just, it's not your time. This was part of your training. You had to come to planet Earth, experience all these, you know, weird things, corruption, power, greed, lust, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, the whole tutti, and learn from it and reconnect to us and find out what your real mission is. Go back and teach people to wake up, how to love themselves.
How did you feel being sent back?
To be honest, at first it was, no, let me stay here, this is great. But I was so filled with energy and love, I felt I could do anything, even come back into the physical body and begin to put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Well, this was all 15 years ago. In the last 15 years, you have put your life back together and discovered that you say you have a gift of healing.
Yeah.
And that you've been working and helping others to find themselves.
Absolutely. I've travelled all over the world because I was filled with incredible energy, and I just wished to find out how to stay connected, how to, feel this kind of passion and bliss. And I was always guided from that moment on to exactly the right teachers to learn how to stay connected.
So you've had a couple of relapses, and Michael has been there at each of those.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got a pathway. You're in tune. But what about the rest of us? How easy is it for us to access the angels?
It's very, very easy. All you have to do is slow down, tune in, get peaceful. Light some candles, play some great music, and just tune in and then watch for the signs.
And is this a feeling, or is there actually, there's not, you're not going to get the fluttering of wings and and feathers all over the place?
Normally that's more like a death experience, but no, you'll have a feeling. You'll start to notice coincidences in your life that guide you. The right person, you're thinking of someone, they just happen to phone, and it's the job offer or the money you need or whatever. It's pretty incredible, but it's about slowing down and tuning in, really learning to listen.
And whether you dismiss those things that are coincidences or not. I mean, it's very, very difficult for people to get their head around that there are guardian angels and angels with them. And obviously, we're human beings who regard the world with a healthy suspicion as well. And it's difficult to hand over your life to something unseen.
But it's odd that this cosmic force would help you to find a new job or find a new flat or find the right money. You would think that the path that they would take you on would be to sort of spiritual enlightenment and forget about the material stuff. Don't worry about the job and the house.
Trouble is, if I go into Tesco's as a healer and I say, sorry, I'm not paying for this because I work with angels, they'd lock me up. So it's about having sacred relationship to all the material stuff. You can still have that, but you don't esteem yourself from it anymore, but it is necessary.
So it's not something you define yourself by anymore?
No, not at all.
It's fascinating. I mean, I've always felt that I was guided to houses I've lived in, definitely. something just turned up. I've never searched for a house, it's always found me. And so I've always said to my mother, I'm quite certain I've been guided to houses. But what about you? This is your book, Susie.
A Map to God. There you go. Awakening Spiritual Integrity. That's the book, and you're gonna come back a little bit later, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Stay with us this morning,
because we want to hear your angel stories. What do you think? Have you seen an angel or had an angelic experience? Perhaps you think that you're being guided through your life by them.
Or whatever your story, give us a call now, 0870 333 0550. That's 0870 333 0550. You can email us on thismorning@itv.com, and we'll be taking your calls a little bit later on.
Now, do you fancy being rent or mortgage free for a whole year? If so, then Alison Hammond and her angelic little boy might just be able to help.